Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for tuning in to Prescribed by Dr. Tab, the Bestie edition, Bestie Book Club edition. Today we are discussing Capadonna. We are still on the Jacquiel J train, and tonight we are addressing if you guys commute, um, tonight we are discussing Capadonna. And Capadonna is a layered series. It's a lot to the series, but it is very layered. And so we will be talking all things Capadonna tonight. But some of the things that so I'm gonna have all of my guests to introduce themselves. If you don't mind, starting with Latoya, if you can introduce yourself, and we'll go down the line, and then we'll start discussing some of the themes that appeared in the book.
Hey everybody, my name is Latoya. I'm checking in from Iowa.
Okay, Iowa. Nika,
I'm the bestie.
this is my bestie. The other part of the Bestie Book Club.
How y'all ladies doing?
Next, Roxy. You muted.
Hi, I'm Roxy, and I'm calling from Indianapolis.
Nika, where are you calling from? I'm sorry, Roxy. Where you calling from, Nika?
VA.
We got Iowa in the house. We got VA in the house. We got Indianapolis in the house.
But I'm from Chicago, so
Me too. Me too.
just reside in Indianapolis.
Abronia.
Hi, as she stated, I am Abronia and I live in Chicago. West Side.
All right, so tonight we're gonna talk about Capadonna, and so just to give the audience a preview of Capadonna is the twin of Capone. Last month we talked about Capone. This month we're talking Capadonna. Capadonna is Capone's twin. Capadonna did time. He was incarcerated. And so he missed out on 15 years of life with his family. So some of the themes that we're going to discuss, and this could be very heavy. And so at the end, I want to lighten it up at the end. But Capadonna is a heavy series, and so in Capadonna, we see themes like exploitation. We see things like rape. We see death. We see incarceration. We see trafficking. We see abusive relationships. We see the duality of religion, loving your religion and hating it at the same time. We see people taking advantage of religion. We see the idea of a chosen family instead of a biological family. We see abandonment. We see grief. We see fertility issues. We see generational trauma. We see homie hopping. We see terminal illness. So there are so many things that appear in Capadonna. And so I want to start off by first asking my bestie. So in the Capadonna series, was it anything in the Capadonna series that resonated more than Capone?
I feel like anything that resonated different than Capone. I think both of them really loved very hard.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Capadonna for me was a little more sensitive in some ways than Capone was. But both of them loved really, really hard. He was about his family. I already know all of them are very, very family oriented. So that part resonated as the same for me. I'm trying to think of anything that I thought that was a big difference besides the fact that he was in jail for 15 years. He missed out on a whole lot.
Mm-hmm. Toya, anything? You muted, Toya.
So my phone, so I'm trying to get off mute. I got a little screen here. So I'm still working on it. So I joined last month and I hadn't read anything. So I read all 3 books of the Capone series. So I got that. And so I'm still working on Capadonna. But I'm just kind of curious to see where it's going to go because just from where I'm at, in the very first book of Capadonna is just, I'm wondering if there is going to be, I'm just kind of curious and thinking out loud if there's going to be some type of divide because of the fact that he has been in jail for 15 years. And when I say divide, I know that they're very family oriented, but if in fact, when you're away from somebody for 15 years, if there is going to be kind of a getting to know you series. But one of the things that just they definitely have a lot of similarities in terms of, how they love their family, their values, being men of their word and things like that. But those were just like, that was just kind of my initial take. Like, is there going to be some type of division that's coming up? And I was honestly just kind of taken back. And so it made me do some self-reflection because of the fact that, how I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce her name right, but the way that he took to Aliyah. Um, yeah, I was just like, I'm like, am I just so used to not seeing healthy relationships or certain or healthy men that's willing to take that on to the point where it just kind of, I don't know, kind of got my attention. So I'm gonna pause there.
All right. Roxy.
I absolutely love Capadonna. That's like that's really my book boyfriend. I love the hot and cold with him. Like was really Capone was really caring, but he was kind of stern. Like Capadonna is very, very stern also, but he has this funny side of him. And it's kind of like this little dry humor, things that he do. I don't know if she intentionally wanted him to be funny, but I think that was the first time I kind of just really chuckled at the book. Like, this bit is funny.
One is hilarious.
Yeah, like the part with the Crocs, like that really just cracked me up. Like, I can't believe he did that. But I also like how he's very, very caring.
Mm-hmm.
He's very, and I think he took his caring up a notch than the Capone. Like, Capone was very caring, but Capadonna like really took it there. And I don't know if it's because he was away for so long that he needed to do that. But I really, this is probably like one of my favorite series.
Abronia.
Okay, so I missed the first one. And now I'm upset about it because I need to get that one. But
what about Capadonna resonated with you?
What really struck me was that he took interest in Aliyah while she was visiting Zane.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was interesting because I remember years ago when I would visit my brother, and they was like, "Man, who was that?" And my brother, he went ballistic on somebody because I was a teen, maybe I don't even think I was a teen yet, like maybe 12 or 13, something like that. And he flew off the rails because one of them inquired about me. He said, "That's my little sister. Don't be looking at my little sister." And I just thought that it was interesting how he took interest in Leia, but he noticed how Zane was treating Leia, and he wasn't having it. So I thought that was really interesting, even at that first level of it.
So one of the things, if I'm honest, the thing that struck me the most about Capadonna was that, just working in the justice system and seeing what incarceration can do to a person. It can do 2 things. It can either make you or break you. And I think that 15 years of sitting down really changed who Capadonna was, because the man that people expected to come home did not come home. He came home a different man, a mature man, a man that was ready to take on responsibility, a man that understood who he was, a man that had found religion and turned it, like he was a total different man coming home. And so that really resonated with me. And I also like the fact that the way people accepted who the new Cap was, because the Cap that left was totally different than the Cap that they received back. And even with Kendra, Kendra whole thing was, I was expecting him to come home and be this way, and that wasn't the case. And so I think that just how he made people respect who he was now, the grown man Cap, because Cap went to jail at a very young age, and so he came home as a grown man, and he made people respect who he was as a grown man. And I appreciated that he had the type of relationships, and not like the relationships where people were okay with receiving a new person and not the person that they had formerly known. Because that's one thing that people who are incarcerated, when they come home, it's hard to get that groove back, because people are expecting you to be the person that left. And doing 15 years is going to change anybody. And so he came home a different man than he left. So one of the things that me and Nika always joke about when it comes to Cap is that his many, many, many professions. He is a dentist. And so I'm going to name a profession, and I'm going to ask everyone.
Maybe a doctor.
He's a doctor.
So we got dentist, we got doctor. What else we got?
He was a chef.
A chef. What else?
Oh, he was a pilot too.
He was a pilot. Anything else? He was a wedding planner
and a doctor.
Like Cap could do it all. Like that was always so funny to me. I like when you talked about it being funny, Roxy. I think the funniest thing to me is like whatever somebody was doing, Cap could do it. Cap was a police officer. He was a police officer. He was everything. And so that always cracked me up every time. Even in like I think the first time in I think it was Capadonna 2, he told Aaliyah, I'm a dentist. And Aaliyah like,
what?
How you a dentist? Like, so to me, that was always funny to see how he turned into all these different people. He had all these different
with such a straight face. Like he would just be so serious. Like, yeah, I did that before. That's what I do. Yeah.
I'm a dentist.
Yeah, like he was talking about something. It's okay if the plane goes pilot. And I'm like, you a pilot?
Oh no, the best part is when he came out the back and they was like, thanks for cooking the pancakes, Cap, at the diner.
About, yeah, I used to be a chef. Like
that cracked me up. That always cracked me up. So I'm gonna ask each person if you can say, so we talked about, the things that resonated with us. What was the thing about Cap that surprised everybody the most?
I think for me, it was how accepted he was of Alea's child. Like, he knew that wasn't his baby, but he stepped right in, made her Delgado. He named her Promise. The reason behind it was just, beautiful. Like, I knew that he would probably be there, but I didn't expect him to go there with it. Like, I just thought, like, hey, we'll be together. This will be my stepdaughter or, my daughter, whatever, my bonus child. I didn't think he really was going to be like, hey, can we name her this? Like, he was really supportive.
He was like, that's my baby.
Yeah, like he really took over that baby like he more than her. Like,
but so what I really loved is the explanation as to why she was a Delgado, because he thought that he wasn't sure that Aliyah was gonna make it after childbirth, and he wanted to make sure that if Aliyah didn't make it, that Promise had a family. And that to me that really warmed my heart. Like, wow, like she can have my name just so that I can make sure that she has someone in this world. And that really that did it for me for Cap.
Well, even the reason behind her having the name Promise.
Mm-hmm.
Because he always told, like, I promise, I'm always be here and everything. So I was like, oh man. That's
I
my
know. Oh,
boyfriend.
Cap.
Cap. And just the description of Cap being this 6 foot, this big old
Big old
giant.
man.
He was such a big presence, but he was such a teddy bear at the same time. And so that it's this duality, and he was this crazy. Everybody, he was a crazy person in the street, but he was so soft to the people that he loved, and it just really just speaks to the duality of men. Like how men can have to be two different people in the streets and in a family.
That's
Or
why I said he
even,
had such that sensitive side. He had a more sensitive side than anybody. Like just doing all of that,
He
he,
had,
he could
yeah.
soften up.
or
Yeah,
even how he just stepped in and became a father to Capella.
yeah, that was going to be mine. I'm like, he stepped up to come out like, oh, okay, that's my son. All right, yep. Amy too.
He did. He gave Amy the flux though, y'all.
And remember how he did Skylar in
In the trap
whole
house.
house at the
In
trap
the trap
house.
house, yes.
Yeah.
Made her
Yeah,
go back
like
to school. He wanted her grades. I want to see her.
Now that I'm sorry, the grades threw me off because I'm like, but when did you become her father?
That was funny.
He a teacher.
baby, Cap is everybody daddy, okay?
Cap said, "I want to see them grades. What are you doing? Wait a minute. Why are you sleeping on a bed with no sheets? A twin bed with no sheets."
Right.
He was disgusted. He was like, "What is your problem?" He was absolutely disgusted.
And he was real supportive. He was real supportive because even him and Amy relationship, how he was, how he went and sat there with her when she was talking to her mama.
Yes. So
yeah, he was on Amy.
he
Right.
did not play with Amy.
He didn't play about her.
He didn't play about Amy. And another thing that I thought was amazing is the way that Capella, he told Amy, like, put this number in your phone. If you call him, he's coming. And to me, that spoke volumes to who Cap was, seeing that you went 19 years without a father, and then to say, regardless to whatever's happened, he's coming. Like, call him. I know he don't trust you, but if you tell him I told you to call, he's coming. That speaks volumes because it's so many kids out here, especially men, black boys that can't count on their fathers. And for him to know, like, regardless of what's going on, my daddy is gonna show up.
Yeah.
That spoke volumes.
Yep, absolutely.
Also, even with him being painted the picture as like this really tough guy and extra big, like you said, and he was like scary in the streets. Like that was Capri person. Like when he got out, that's who she kind of ran her information through, and she looked for validation from Capadonna more so than Capone, because Capone I think came off more like a father figure kind of sort of, and Capadonna was kind of like her ear and her soundboard. So it just shows how like loving he was, although he had this hard exterior.
Which is why I feel like Capadonna's opinion of Capri when it came to
her love life,
specifically the last two,
right? The last two,
and Kincaid and Quamir. Like I feel like that really made her feel a way. Like when he called her a homie hopper, like don't like that really made her really take a look at herself. Like at the wedding, at the anniversary party of her parents, when she made that comment, you can tell that Capadonna's opinion of her really, had her questioning, like, why am I doing this? How am I here?
The thing that surprised me about Capadonna, I didn't think he would actually go to the restaurant and just totally jack up Ace.
Why?
Because he was already into what's the girl name?
It wasn't about Kendra. So the beat up wasn't about it was about the respect. Because so first of all, Ace was a clown. That's first and foremost. Ace was a clown, and I don't necessarily think that Ace might have been feeling Kendra, but I feel like it was it was the thrill of knowing that I took Cap's woman. And so I think that Cap had to show Ace that I'm that nigga. I'm exactly that nigga they said I was. I don't think that it wasn't about Kendra. I don't think he cared anything about Kendra. I think that it was just to prove, it was to look, he was sunning. He sunned Ace. Like, nigga, I'm cutting his face up. Like, you slamming niggas' faces. Like, really?
Plate. I wondered about that, Keisha, because I was like, I know he had no intentions on being with her because he had already, the fact that he hadn't called her, when he had got out, and you knew that he was going to end it. So I was just kind of wondering about his motives in terms of going to the restaurant and like slamming his face because of the fact that he knew he didn't want her. But that makes sense in terms of it just being a respect thing.
It was a respect thing. Like, I'm Big Cap, and you treat me like I'm some average ass nigga off the street. And I think that Cap is big on respecting women. And so for Ace to have been taking money from, Kendra, knowing that it was Cap's money and thinking that's cute, I think that Cap had to like really just show up and say, I am Big Cap. I am that nigga that they said I am, and I'm gonna show you. And he just wouldn't learn a lesson. Like, he just couldn't get it in his head that you're not gonna be here. Like, you sitting up with cuts on your face. He didn't kill all your homies. Like, but all your homies. You really think that you gonna win this race? You're not winning. It's not a thing.
Ace was trying to act like he was the man,
and you wasn't. And how can you be the man when you got on with my money though? Like, I think that was Captain. Like, how you the man when you use my money to get on? Like, you ain't the man.
Is that when he did all this? When he had on them Crocs?
That's when he went to the barbershop. When he called him Tweety, I about died.
Yeah, like with
That's
the
what he called Taz Tweety. I was like, well, who was Tweety? Is Tweety a new character?
When he sent the hat chair to his house, I sent you a hat chair. That was, I'm like, what is wrong with Cap? Cap, something's wrong with him. That was hilarious. So, other thing, I do want to talk about like Alaya's experience. Alaya experience with like just the exploitation, being sold by her brother after her yaya died. I think that we read these books and we think that it's so fictional, but
no, but that's happening, right?
This one, I think that this particular series, right, it really hit home just based on my work, like just the work that I do, and literally knowing how families sell like sell daughters and sell sisters and cousins and all those things, and the idea that Alaya, upon Yaya dying, she was completely uncovered. And so when we think about all of the young girls that we see that's living with grandmothers or older aunties, and what happens when they're no longer here, who's protecting them, and the idea that Raheem, she was just a meal, she was another dollar to him and not a sister. That was wild to me. Y'all both lost y'all mother. Both y'all mothers, your mother's in jail. You grew up in the house with your grandmother. You had a good life. And then for you to just disregard her like that was kind of crazy to me.
It was crazy, especially since that's his sister, like you stated. And it's like, even when my brother was, and my brother and I, we would drag out, right? But at the end of the day, even though I grew up in an abusive home, so to speak, at the end of the day, he literally told the nigga, "Don't touch my sister," and he meant that with everything in him. Don't freaking touch my sister, for lack of a better word. And I think it's interesting. It's like, how are you her brother, and you supposed to be the protector? It's two of you all. Like my mother used to say, if something ever happens to me, you all are gonna be left. You are all you have. And because my brother, he was like 13 years older than I. Now I don't know how much older was
Raheem. Wasn't that much older than her, but old enough that when Yaya died, he was an adult.
Exactly.
And so I don't know. For me, like, I feel like that was the draw to Capella. I'm sorry, to Capadonna, because Capadonna showed up as a protector, even when she was with Zane. Even in Capone series, when he got her had the car take her home, like he's always showed up as a protector for her, which is the thing that she never had. Dyla, we haven't heard anything from you tonight.
I'm trying to make sure that I'm at the same place. It's been a while since I've read Capadonna, so I don't want to give anything away because right now I'm in Quasim, so I'm here. But I did love his sense of humor. I will say that was one thing that was stood out for me. I loved his sense of humor.
He was hilarious.
He
And he
was.
wasn't even trying to be funny though. Like that was the thing. Like he
No,
was hilarious, but he wasn't even trying. He was just hilarious.
He believed all them things. So I don't know what you're talking
He definitely did. He definitely believed he was all of those things. So another thing that I want to bring up is this idea around religion and how people use religion for their benefit.
I just, I really felt really, I was so bothered reading how Zane used to abuse her, not just physically, but how he would use like the religion to abuse her, or even how he would use food and like him cutting off the lights when it was
That
really
was
hot.
fast.
hmm
Like he
That
used
was
things to just really punish her. And I'm just like, this is crazy. And I really didn't know where the book was going. Cause
mhm.
I'm like, where is this book going? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in my mind, I'm like, I know eventually he's gonna help her, but is he going to try to be with her? Cause I'm like, this woman is damaged. Like, so I didn't know how they were gonna interact with both of them just having so much trauma, him being in jail and her being in jail in the mind and physically
Yep.
with her abuse. I didn't know how they were gonna work through that.
And so that was the thing. That's, to me, that was the love story for me, because they both was in bondage at some point. And so their finding each other was their sense of freedom.
Mm.
Like for Alaya, she would have still been in those relations. She would have just took whatever task gave her, had it not been for Capadonna, because she didn't feel like she had any other options. She didn't have any family. Her brother sold her. She didn't have anywhere to go. Zane didn't allow her to leave the house to even establish any kind of sense of normalcy or independence. And so when Taz showed up and said, "Now I'm your husband," she just was like, "Well, yeah, I guess so."
Mm.
And the idea of like Islam, to me, the brothers I know that's part of the nation respect women. They protect women. They don't do the things. For Zayn to be toting this whole Muslim lifestyle and Taz and y'all trafficking girls is
That
crazy.
was it was like cult like it just gave cult vibes. Like they what I'm saying, they was doing people like kind of how slavery, they was using Christianity as a form to say why they was enslaving them. And that's how I feel that Zane was doing Aliyah, using the religion of why he needed all his wives and why she had to obey. And but I will say that Aliyah was really bold to kept calling Capadonna. Because I'm like, well, because in the beginning I'm like, man, he gonna hurt her. And he kept doing like things he'll do would get worse and worse, like cutting off the lights, not giving her food. And I'm like, gonna kill her. But she still called him.
But I think that at some point she felt like that was her lifeline.
It
Yeah.
was. It was. She was so brave. I just was in awe of her
Yeah, she
bravery.
was really brave.
That was a really hard situation because, just to step out on trust. But, there was obviously that connection from when, when he sent that car when she was at the jail because, that saying, better the devil I know than one I don't know. And Capadonna by far was not a devil, but the fact to be in a vulnerable situation, pregnant, it could have been very easy. I could see why she could have stayed, versus stepping out and trusting. So I was just in awe of her strength and her bravery to do that.
When it comes to religion, and even I don't claim myself a Christian. Kissy, we'll talk about it later. Um, but when it comes to religion, especially with Islam, Because the way I think, I'm like, well, okay, well, when did they get married? And then I had to remember she was sold to him.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, she wasn't his wife, right? But I've heard so many stories where women as well as mainly like men who've been molested by these nasty pastors for the sake of I'm your pastor.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to obey me, and they use certain words as manipulation.
Like he did with the head wraps and all of the things
Yeah.
that he only practiced he only practiced that religion when it benefited him. And so how many of us see that we see that all the time, and not just in Islam, in every religion. People use religion for their own self gain, and that's what he did. He used it as a sense of control, manipulation, and then getting a young girl at the age of 17. What was she, 16, 16,
Mm-hmm.
17?
Yep,
um
16.
and bringing her and introducing her to a religion that's foreign to her. She don't know if what you telling her is true or not, because it's all foreign to her. She don't know anything about this religion. And so that's another thing, because of her age. How many of you guys were surprised to know that Nellie was one of Zane's wives? Did that surprise anybody?
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
Wait, that who was?
Nellie,
Yeah, yeah.
the
That
nurse.
was, yeah, I was gonna say she a nurse, and her and
Oh,
Elia knew each other.
yeah, yeah, that was surprising.
Because she got out. She just stopped. And so
Yeah, she
it
like,
makes
yeah,
me
I'm out
wonder.
of here.
Right. It makes me wonder, like, how was she able to just walk away and Elia couldn't? Or was it the idea that Elia didn't know how?
I don't think that she knew how. I think that she was more scared than anything because of the trauma that she had already been through. I think that she didn't really. I think she was more scared than Nelly was.
I always thought that he kept a tighter grip on her than he did with the others.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He kind of was like, she was like his favorite. But to the
And
point of the religion, I do like how in the story, even though she had a terrible time with it and was made to do all those things on the negative side of the religion of being forced and made to think it was one thing, I liked in the journey how she was able to come back to terms with it and
Yeah.
still celebrate and find somebody who matched that same energy with her and who taught her, led her along the way.
I thought it was beautiful the way that she talked about the duality of her religion, how she
Yeah.
hated how people use the religion, but she came to love Allah and Islam. And
Yes.
just the type of Islamic wife that she became. She really became the, like the traditional Islamic woman, even
Mm-hmm.
even though it the way that she got into it.
Yes.
But and I actually love the way she went to Cap and said, will you teach me how to pray or something, or can I pray with you?
Hmm.
Or either he had invited her, I
That
can't
was on
remember
his
exactly.
birthday. That was on his
Huh?
birthday. That was on his birthday when
Yeah.
she asked if she could pray with him.
Yes. I like that, and she did it because she wanted to know, she wanted to learn his way.
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, he was telling her, you don't have to wrap your hair if you don't want to,
Hmm.
Yeah.
because Islam, just like it is with, if you are a believer in Christ, nothing is forced on you. Even when you're in Christ, the Holy Ghost does not. I know you all have to excuse me, but the Holy Ghost does not force
Right.
himself to make you do anything. And this is what I believe Capadonna was showing her, that in Islam nothing is supposed to be forced on you. Everything you do should be done willingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he explained, women it's their choice to wrap their heads. It's a choice. And even the way that she tried to, um, like with making his plate, him telling her, like, I can make my own plate. Have a seat. You're tired. I can do that. She
Mm-hmm.
showed he introduced her to the idea of partnership. because that's not something that she recognized. She didn't recognize partnership. She recognized being subservient, and he introduced her to partnership, which made her want to be. She wanted to submit to him because he offered her the partnership and the choice to submit and not being forced to do so.
Mm-hmm. And I think out of all the couples that's been in the series, those two, like you could tell like how much they love each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, you could like read it off the page how much they just love on each other so much.
And you also can see how. So for me, like the idea that Aliyah was 26,
and he was super grown.
However, he was 20 something when he went into jail. And so
Yeah.
he really, like his life literally stopped at that point. You know what I'm saying? So even though they were so far in age, they experienced a lot of things together for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had been removed from society so long. And I want to say, was he, how old? He was what, 25? How old was he when he went to jail? Like 25?
Like 25.
20?
Because when he got out, that should be close to like 40 ish. Yeah, like 40ish.
And he
Yeah,
just,
he was like 20 something, yeah.
and so at the end of the day, even though, they both had been, they had both been in bondage, most of their life from 17 to 26. And then again, with Capadonna from 25 to 40, he had, they're experiencing, even his home, experiencing Barbados for the first time. That was his first time being in his home. Somebody is something in the background for some
Or
reason.
even like when he first came home and he was uncomfortable and had to sleep in the closet. Like how she eased him out of that.
I was definitely wanting to bring that up, the idea of the space, like coming into such a big space and not being able to really, handle that. He came into all of this money. When Capadonna went to jail, he didn't really have no money.
Mm-mm.
They was just getting started. Who is that? Is that TV or music? What is it?
I don't know. I hear it too.
There might be. Is that Latanya? Is she frozen?
Somebody might be
No,
frozen.
it's not me. I don't have anything.
Somebody got some music playing in the background.
So, my next thing, we got 20 minutes left. I do want to talk about the Capella. Who is this?
Everybody hit mute for a minute so we can see who it is.
It was Dyla. Once I muted her. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about, like when it came to Aliyah and Capadonna. So Aliyah has a child that Cap took ownership of, but in the process, she lost the ability to give him a child biologically. Or so they thought. And so the way that he handled that situation, I really love the way all the men in her series handle adversities when it comes to women, because most men, not most men, but I've experienced, like when you experiencing something, you always, because they don't understand, you don't always get the comfort or the compassion, or I just feel like with the men in this series, it was always a relief. Like her idea of not feeling, so she already had been exploited. He knew she had been exploited. He knew about the rape. She moved into his house with no money, nothing for her child, pregnant, and now he's accepted me and we gonna be together, and now I can't even give him a child. But the way that he handled her was amazing to me. The way he handled that trauma of learning that I'm 26 and I can never have another child biological. I can't carry a child. the way he handled that situation and the way he handled her, it was like he always handled her like she was a delicate flower. She never had the opportunity to really, after meeting him, she never really had the opportunity to experience trauma. Even though traumatic things happened after him, he always handled her in a way that brought her relief and peace.
Yeah, and when he didn't think that he could step up, he had his family step in to help her, especially after she had promised.
And I like the way that he introduced her to the idea of therapy, because in her mind, he was her therapy. He was all that she needed. And so for him to tell her, like, I have a therapist for you because I can't fix those things. I can't, with the rape and the exploitation and all of those things, he couldn't fix it. He couldn't give her what she needed to heal. And the fact that he was the person to introduce her to a therapist, when so many Black men have an issue with therapy.
Yeah. And
Yeah, because even though he a therapist, he was like, I'm
right,
not.
even though he a therapist, it was a
Even
conflict
though
of
he a
interest.
therapist, he was like, I'm not a good fit for you, baby.
It
You
was
need
gonna be a
to,
conflict of interest, honey. You need to find somebody else.
I'm gonna find you somebody else, boo. I'm not it, but I am a therapist.
I am a
But you,
therapist.
but you can still talk to me though.
Right. But the whole hospital scene was really nice because it just showed how in tune he was with her. Because I started thinking about my own husband, like he would have told my mama to answer the questions, like he wouldn't have made that decision.
Mm-hmm.
He would have put it off on somebody else. So I'm just like, yeah, she definitely wrote those characters to be very in tune with women.
They were very in tune. They were very in tune with the women that they loved. Even with
Yeah.
Kendra, like even with Kendra, he still was, as much as he hated her, he still was compassionate. When they got to Francie's funeral, he still embraced her. He still had enough compassion to understand that even she was hurting in the process. Even she lost something. And I just thought that he was just, I don't know, like they make it hard for real life relationships. These authors make it rough
They do.
because these men don't exist off these pages. Not
Can we talk about the sun piece?
Capella.
Because to twist it a little bit, I never knew my father.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because my mother felt that I didn't even know who he was. And she refused to tell her friends, her best friends, who my father was. And for Capellity, I think Capadonna found out while he was in jail.
Mm-hmm.
So he already knew, but he was waiting to see if Kendra was going to tell him. And she never did. She had every opportunity in the world to
Do you
tell
think he expected Kendra to tell after 19 years? I don't think he really
no.
expected Kendra to tell. I think he was just setting Kendra up for the fall. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think he ever expected her to tell after 19 years.
No,
Yes.
he knew she wasn't gonna say nothing, but he just he was setting her up
Yeah.
so he could go back and be like, I already knew with your lying ass.
Exactly. And that's the crazy thing. And even back then women did that. I don't know if they did it because the person was in jail. I don't know why they did it. I know why my mother did it, but that's another show. We ain't gonna talk about that.
We're going to hook you up with Capadonna so you can get you a session with Capadonna. Capadonna going to work through the therapist Capadonna. He going to work through that. I felt like my heart went out to Capella because to be around your family and then not know but they don't know. Mm-hmm. I think that had to be really rough to see Capone interact with CJ, but not be able to say, like, I'm your nephew, to see Jean and what was her husband's name? What was Mr. Delgado? I can't think of his name right now, but to see him the way that he loved on his children and his grandchildren, and to know that I deserve that same love because I'm one of your grandchildren too, and not be able to say that and get that, I think that really, that had to be really, really rough
Yeah, and I think it comes out a lot.
as the
As the
series.
stories go, as the series go on, you get to see how broken Capella is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I was like, yeah, it really him not having him and him just kind of having to fake his life kind of took a toll on him, or even how he treated Amy. Like
Amy, I
he
was
he
just gonna
didn't
say,
respect he didn't really have respect for women, but he didn't respect his mama like that. You know what I'm saying?
how could you
So
have respect for women if Kendra your mama?
exactly. That's what I'm saying. He didn't respect his mother. So the way he, handled Amy, from time to time throughout the book was, it really showed. And I like how his daddy would always step in and correct him.
I liked how all the men corrected him. I liked the way that Kwasim corrected him, how Kwasim stepped to him. I liked the way that Capone, everybody stepped to him. And I think that that's what we're missing. Like, we're missing in this society where other men can say, you handling her wrong. Like, that's not how you handle a woman. Like,
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I don't know. I think this is in Capri book. When he was at the bar.
that was Capri.
Okay, well then I'll shut up to next month. But it be running in my head, girl. I don't know. But I just really like how everybody always like it's like they knew that Capella was rough around the edges and he was Kendra's son, so they had to kind of get him up to par.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of gave him a lot of grace and they kind of tried to help him along the way. Cause
Kendra got on my nerve with her expectations, though. Like, how in the hell do you expect this man to want to, like, I'm your mother? When? Like, where? How? When? Like, that really drove me insane with her expectations.
yeah. But his mother's out here like that.
It is. But I usually see it with recovering addicts. Like, when mothers, they didn't get high, they stopped getting high, and now they want you to, like, be,
I
I'm your
mean,
mama.
but Kendra was an addict, not with drugs. She was addicted to getting money and
Yeah.
having men and everything. And she had this lifestyle that she had, and she wanted to keep up with it. She reminds me of Tasha from Capone.
Yes.
Her and Tasha was just alike.
Yeah, Tasha was a little worse than Ken, but yeah,
Yeah, but they definitely was homies. They could be best friends.
they could have been homies.
Yeah,
They could have been homies.
yeah.
You know, my problem with Kendra, it was you had the opportunity too many times, right? But instead, she wanted to just spend money on him, take him here and there. Like, I'm the auntie. But then after a while, then she decided to say, well, I was the one that bought you this and bought you that. Yeah, but that's all you did.
Yeah,
But
And
but
some people don't know.
right.
I see that a lot. That a lot of people don't know how to love. That's the only way they know how to show they love. I've had a situation with somebody, and I kind of told them what I needed. And they was like, "Well, you never told me. I gave you this. I gave you that." And I was like, "I didn't ask you for money." You know what I'm saying? And I think that some people associate their love by what they can give to you. They didn't learn that love isn't a monetary thing. So you
Well,
know.
well, Kendra did not understand how to love a child because Frankie never loved her appropriately. So
Right.
you got to remember that Frankie was her mother, and Frankie did to her what she did to Capella. And so another thing that I saw in this series that continued to come up is the generational trauma. Like, the trauma was inflicted generationally. Like, when you get more into the series, you will understand a lot about Capadonna and Capone's trauma based on things that the father, so there is a lot of generational trauma, even with Jean,
Capri and her mama.
like all of those things, we scratch the surface in Capadonna, but when we get in Capri, you really see that there is some generational strain between the two of them, and it's a learned behavior. And so Kendra's parenting was a learned behavior. She learned how to parent based on how she was parented. And Frankie wasn't it. It just wasn't. She wasn't it. And it literally showed throughout the whole thing. So just think about the fact that the first time that Frankie ever met Capadonna was at Francie's funeral. This is somebody that your child has been with over 20 years. And this is the first time that you seen him. So her interest in her child wasn't there. Like, she wasn't interested in being a mother or being present. And so when she did come around, she came around with, when Frankie came around Kendra and her sister, it was with the newest baller, the person that had the money and with things. And so that is the same thing that she did when it came to Capella. She didn't know how to parent.
And she didn't have to, because somebody else was taking care of him.
Yep. She didn't have to, because
she didn't have to.
From her grandmother to Francie, she didn't need to. And then even after Francie, I mean, even in the midst of Francie, it was almost, what was the cousin name? She was more of a
what was her name?
Jamie, Jasmine. It's a
Jasmine.
It was, Jasmine.
Jasmine was his person. You know, and even in the auntie, like, even if you not my mother, but you know, you still playing. She didn't even play the auntie role good. You know, she just came in and dropped some dollars and kept it moving. But that's what she got. That's how she was parented. So she did what she understood.
And you know, I don't know where this series is going. So it looks like I got some books to read, thanks to y'all. But I would hope to see some type of forgiveness in one of these books.
It gets deep in the next series. Next month we'll have a lot of forgiveness.
Oh Lord, I ain't ready.
Forgiveness on who end though? Forgiveness on
well, if the curse needs to be broken, it should start with Kendra. That's just how I feel about it.
Oh girl.
So you didn't finish the Capadonna
right?
series?
You ain't finished Capadonna.
I read Capadonna according to the
one. When? How many did you read? Because it's a bunch of Capadonnas. We did the whole series.
I only did oh no, I'm missing some books.
You got to do them 0.5 sugar.
Because what you asking for ain't gonna happen.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm like.
I was like, forgiveness for who?
I was just thinking she was saying in general, just forgiveness in the book. That's why I'm like, yeah, there'd be some forgiveness in Capri book. You know, they'll start to, become more family like.
They mended some fences, but that one ain't gonna. That one not.
Yeah.
That one ain't mending, baby. It don't get there. Unfortunately, the Grim Reaper don't allow all that.
At all.
Yeah. No, let me tell you what was funny. When Kendra was like, "You about to be a big brother," he like, that pissed me off. What? Like, I'm 5 years old.
He already got promised.
Right. He said, "I got a little sister."
Yeah, but these little series really be having me in the chokehold. Like, I was really fiending for the new book to hit, and I'm like, it was taking too long to hit Audibles because I don't have, the what's that Kindle stuff. I'm just gonna buy me one for Christmas. But I really, and I be having conversations with my husband like he know these people.
I don't.
And he be like, "Are you talking about that book?" I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah.
I am. I'm just saying, I can't wait till we get to 10,000 hours, honey. I cannot wait.
Ooh, baby.
When I tell you, I chuckled the whole book.
Me too. Like, oh my God, he was
with my baby man. Look.
Baby.
And I just this lady, because I'm in her little group. This author lady, as she called herself, author lady with the big booty.
With the big booty wagon.
With the big booty wagon. She really be like tapping into stuff that you just don't even think about, like mental health, like people with having disabilities and stuff. And I'd be like, girl, like
that's what I love about her. Like,
yes,
she really, really taps into. I don't even want to give it away, but
right, like neurodivergence and
10,000 hours. That shit there was like, that's some shit we don't talk about.
No, we don't.
We ain't talking about that, and so I cannot wait to get there. So what we will be there in January.
No,
We got
because after them
no.
it's Quasim.
Oh no, ten
Yes.
thousand.
After
10,000
Capri,
After
no
Capri,
10,000.
after
I,
Capri is Quasim. You read
one.
two, you
One
read
and two.
Quasim 1, and then you go to Thousand Hours.
Yeah,
Mm.
Then you go to
Go to
Quasim
two.
2 and
Two.
3,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go to Don Caselli.
yeah, and then Goon baby.
Baby, and then Don Caselli was funny too.
Yeah,
Mm.
Don was hilarious.
Don was doing a whole
Oh
lot of hunching.
wow.
I said, that's the. It wasn't a whole lot of hunching in this series, but baby Don said, "Look, we finna heat this thing up." Don
Don
was
said,
but
"I'm bringing it."
but
Don
it
was
all
doing
makes
some hunching.
sense. That's the thing. It all makes sense. If you read from Capone,
Yep,
everything makes sense.
it
Because
does.
when they was like Don Caselli, I never thought Don Caselli was Landon. And I'm like, oh my God.
I didn't either. At first, I was like, "Wait, who is Don? Don is that the daddy?" And I was like, "No, that is Landon. Don is like."
Right. When they kept saying Landon Caselli, I said, oh my God, that is
I said,
Capella was
"Oh
ready.
my god,
I'm like, Capella's ready to knock him out.
yeah."
Baby, man, he was coming for, but we can't give it away because we're not there yet.
No.
So we have 5 minutes left. And so if each person can just take a moment, we probably won't stay to 6. I know y'all got some cooking to do. It's Thanksgiving. But if each person can take one takeaway from Capella, it could be a line, it could be whatever you want.
Oh shoot! Hold on, I gotta think.
Mm.
You said it could be a line.
It could be a line from the book. It could be
I mean, for me, I'm just gonna start being whoever I want to be. That's what I took from it. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. You know what? I'm a goddamn real estate agent. I'm a plumber. I'm gonna be whatever I want to be, and I'm gonna say it with a straight face. So
He's like,
tomorrow,
"Forget it."
so
Yep, I'm
tomorrow,
that too.
I'm telling everybody Happy Thanksgiving. I'm gonna let everybody. I'm make an announcement. Let everybody know that I'm a top chef. Okay, I'm a top chef, and I'm making this exquisite, eloquent cuisine for Thanksgiving
Top notch,
because I
five
studied at
star.
Le Cordon Bleu. Okay.
right. Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
I'm just
Abrona.
grateful for, to this series. I'm catching up. I was reading frantically, but I read all because I hadn't read any of them. So I'm
I
just
don't care. Take
grateful
your
for.
time. Take your
Uh,
time.
Yeah,
okay,
don't
I
fly
was
through it.
reading the first three. I was like, okay. So I was like, you know what? But yeah, I'm just grateful for this series. I know that it's fiction, but it just, I don't know, it kind of makes you reflect. Because at first I was like, I guess you're so used to seeing certain stuff, but I was like, is this love bombing or what? It's just, I don't know. It just made me think a lot. I guess just to be open and maybe give people a chance, kind of.
Yeah. And on a serious note, it did make me feel like, you just never know what people be going through.
Hmm.
Like when that girl went to that laundromat and he would have never knew she had all this stuff just going on in her life. And it's kind of like, we be seeing people and we just have to kind of always remember that people, you don't know what people going through.
That's true.
You just never know what people going through.
Dyla.
She can't get off mute.
Oh, okay. There we go. Sorry. I think for me, I just really love the family aspect of it.
Mhm,
That even through the trials and the ups and the downs, still coming together as a family when things arise.
mhm. Bronya Nika.
Um, well, for me, what I'm learning in the I'm new to this. I'm trying to learn how to read. Y'all not helping me.
Hmm.
What I'm learning is that don't play with people's feelings.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's what Kendra was doing.
Hmm.
And considering some stuff that literally happened in Arkansas where there was a killing, yeah, don't play with people's feelings.
Nika.
I was trying to think of a quote because Cap has so many of them. I
He
can't even
did.
think of nothing. I'm off right now. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I'm lost. I do like the fact that I can just be whoever I want to be. I'm going with you, girl.
Yeah, be whoever you want to be.
That's for when I call you later. I might be a scientist or something.
I'm telling you, people do it every day.
Exactly.
They be on here lying.
Mhm.
Cap really believe that. They know they be lying. These people that be lying about all this stuff, they know they lying. At least Cap was like, he really was playing it off. I think the thing that resonated with me, there was a line, and I can't remember the line. It was, I don't want to misquote him, but the essence of it was that with Capadonna was talking to Aliyah when they were standing in front of the mirror. He was standing behind her, and she didn't want to put her towel down, and he told her that she did not need permission. Like she didn't need permission to be who she was. And I think that for so many of us in this day and age, we chasing these perfect bodies, we chasing this IG image, we getting all this work done, we doing all these things to be accepted. And I think that for me, Cap's presence in Aliyah's life was one that told her that all she had to be was her, and she was enough. And I think that
Mhm.
that was the thing that stayed with me, is that he made sure she knew she was enough. Jean made sure she knew she was enough. Um, Aaron, everybody in that family they
Mhm.
surrounded her to let her know that she wasn't what she went through.
Mhm.
She didn't need permission to walk into her purpose, and that was the thing that stayed with me.
That's true.
That's very true.
So I thank you guys, and I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Next Wednesday, we will be the show will be What's Tea. We'll be talking about some things that's happening. Again, on the second Wednesday, we will be doing Nas, and the third we are Worship Unleashed, and then Bestie Book Club again, when we will be talking Capri, all of Capri. So start right
Mhm.
now reading so that you
And
can
don't
read
and don't forget to do them point fives.
baby. Because I had to call Nika one day, like, I'm confused because I missed the whole point five. So make sure that you follow the
Oh,
series, the 1.5, the 2, the 2.5, so that
yeah.
that we can stay in tune with what's going on with Capri, so we can, because Capri gets deeper. That's the thing about Jaquil.
Mhm.
Every series get deeper and deeper and deeper. And so come next month ready to discuss some deeper issues that appear with Capri. And keep your eyes open for some things that we won't necessarily, that you don't expect when it comes to Capri and her story. Thank you guys, and have a wonderful holiday. See you
Bye,
guys.
All right.
y'all.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. Okay, bye.